Thank you and good afternoon. Welcome to the regular board meeting for Wednesday, February 14th, today, Valentine's Day. Before we begin our meeting, I'd like to recognize with gratitude that we are here and the CVRD is contained within the unceded territories of Kwatsan, Malahat, Subasit, Halalt, Penelakut, Staminas, Layaxan, Palkachin, Dididat, and Pachidat nations, whose people have walked gently here for thousands of years. Before we get underway, I'd also like to note the somber tone of our meeting, and although it's Valentine's Day, recently we lost such an important person in our communities with the passing of former Chief Chip Seymour. I'm going to give space for the directors who may like to say something about him, but I can only say that my experience in getting to know and to build a relationship with Chip was one of the greatest honors that I had. There's so many people at this table that knew him better than I did, but through our work together at the Cowichan Watershed Board and his unique blend of quiet leadership and gravitas in the way that he carried himself and the kindness with which he conducted himself in everything that he did was just such a rare person and a rare presence at any table in any room that he was in. He always spoke quietly, but with a kind of authority that I don't think I've ever seen anyone else carry. He always approached every issue with a really open mind and a kind heart, and even when he was being firm, he did it with a gentleness that I've honestly never experienced in any other person. I know that Mayor Staples, Director Staples, would have loved to be able to be here today to share some of her thoughts, but I know that Director Duncan is prepared to share those thoughts with us. And after Director Duncan gets an opportunity to speak, I will ask if there's any other members of the board that would like to share any thoughts before we get underway today. Director Duncan, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is a message from Mayor Michelle Staples on the passing of Chief Chip Seymour. It is so deeply sad to have heard this news yesterday. He will be deeply missed. There are few people I have met who lived by the words he spoke in the way he did. He was committed to working together, no matter how difficult it could be at times. There was always a way forward, and we weren't going back. He taught me about courage, strength, kindness, humility, acceptance, and leadership. He reminded me to be patient and made me laugh through my tears. He shared endless stories, never missed an opportunity to praise others and to tease for that matter, but always with great affection. I valued him as a mentor, a colleague, a respected elder, and a dear friend. I will miss our long talks, our texts, but I will never forget what you taught me that I will carry close to my heart. May your next journey be as far out as you, Chief Chip. My heart goes out to the community and family as you grieve through this time of great loss. And I add my condolences to the family and the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Duncan. And I just take a moment for any of the others that would like to share any words. Director Douglas.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. The passing of former Chief Seymour is a big loss, obviously for his family, for Cowichan tribes, and for our broader community. I had the chance to work directly with former Chief Seymour in my capacity as a counselor with North Cowichan, and my experience working with Chip was that he was someone who advocated strongly for Cowichan tribes members, had a very deep understanding of the challenges facing his community, and worked hard at advancing meaningful reconciliation with non-Indigenous people, including at the municipality of North Cowichan. And I would say that the work he did really laid the groundwork for a much stronger relationship that continues to this day. So again, big loss for Chip's family and big loss for our community.
Thank you. Any others before we continue? And I would share, I know I can share on behalf of everyone who sits at this table, both our staff and our board members, that our condolences very much go to his family and close friends. And I just want to share one last little more lighthearted thing, because I think that was a big part of what Chip brought to it. Was we would always go into meetings, and it didn't take long for him to realize that I like to talk. And he was more of a stronger, silent type. But we worked really well together, and in meetings, he would kind of let me go, and then I'd keep my eye on him, and when he thought it was time for me to be quiet so that he could speak, he would look at me and go, just give me a little signal it was time for me to be quiet. But that doesn't mean any of you can do that at this table. I know that Mike would love to, but it was just that humor and humility and kindness and just strong leadership. That is such a rare combination in anyone, and is truly a special person who'll be dearly missed. And with that, Ms. Boyd, we will get underway.
Thank you, Chair. May I please have the approval of the agenda?
If there are no changes to the agenda, I'll ask for a motion to approve as presented. Moved by Alternate Director Champ, seconded by Alternate Director Duncan. All those in favor? Any opposed? None opposed? Actually, that means I forgot to welcome our alternate directors to the table today. There are a few, because I believe Director Toporowski has a salmon function. Sorry, I forget the name right now, but it's Pacific Salmon Commission. Some of our directors are also away at the UBCM Housing Summit right now in Vancouver. So today we have alternate directors, Champ, from Area B. Is it B? Yeah, it says A on my list, but I knew that was wrong. Alternate Director Duncan from Duncan. Alternate Director Manhas from North Cowichan. Welcome. Alternate Director Olive from Area D, and Alternate Director Smith from Area G. So welcome to the five of you to our table today. And we'll continue on with our business. The motion to approve the agenda has been adopted.
Thank you, Chair. We move to 2, adoption of the minutes, that the minutes of the regular board meeting of January 24th, 2024 be adopted.
If there are no errors or omissions, Director Deck.
It's just been brought to my attention that I voted against the rescinding of the name, that final motion. That was my mistake. What I wanted to do was to vote for rescinding the name.
Okay.
It's,
The Creek.
yeah, I voted against the amendment.
And then voted for the resolution as amended once the amendment had passed.
Yeah.
Sorry, I can take your name off, and we can adopt the minutes as amended, removing your name if you
Oh,
like.
thank you.
Okay.
I appreciate that.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
That's been moved by Director Deck as amended. Do we have a seconder? Seconded by Director Justice. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? None opposed. Motion carries. Ms. Boyd.
Thank you, Chair. We have no business arising from the minutes. We just did the amendment. For public input period, the public input period is to offer the public an opportunity to comment on an agenda item before the board considers the item. The public input period procedure policy allows for an allotment of 15 minutes where the speaker is welcome to comment on any items on the agenda up to a maximum of 3 minutes. This excludes items that are or have been subject to a public hearing. The speaker should comment in a polite, calm, and courteous manner using respectful language, civility, and decorum.
Thank you, Ms. Boyd. I don't believe we have anyone online for public input, so the podium is available for anyone in the gallery who wishes to speak on an agenda item today. If you'd like, just take the podium and press the blue button on the base. That will turn the microphone on, and please point the microphone towards you, and we will be able to then hear you.
Okay,
You can just move it, yeah,
let's see.
yeah.
Oh,
There we go.
okay.
You're
Hi,
all good.
my
Welcome.
name's Amanda Vance. I'm with Cowichan Intercultural Society, and I was just here to give a brief overview of our request for a letter of support for a funding application from Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada. The request well, we've actually already submitted the proposal, but I was a little late asking for a letter of support. But it is to establish a roundtable to discuss immigration in the Cowichan Valley. We do have a lot of roundtables here, I realize that, and I also realize that human resources are limited. However, immigration's really important. We did a LIP feasibility study a few years ago, and in consultation with the CVRD and Economic Development Cowichan, we established there's, as we know, a lot of labor shortages here, and that there has been a lot of population growth, but it's basically only through immigration. We have a naturally decreasing population rate here. And then the community plan calls for like holistic approach to growth, and that's exactly what the local immigration partnership is all about. It's bringing different stakeholders together to focus on how immigration can work for the region. It's not about attracting newcomers, it's more about managing the growth as it arrives. And at CIS, where we work with immigrants and refugees, we've seen a huge increase in the last year in particular. We've had a lot of displaced Ukrainians coming, 127, which is a fair amount for a small population here. And we've also had a lot of temporary foreign workers lately, 90 in the past 9 months instead of 30, which is more common. And I think that speaks to the kind of labor shortages that we have here and how employers are taking that matter into their own hands. So I just wanted to put forward that I'm here to answer any questions when that agenda item comes up. I wanted to give a brief overview of the history and why the request came here. There's no financial request of the board other than maybe the most precious resource, which is a human resource, like someone to be a part of the committee at some point. But if the application was approved, that would not be the case until April 2025. So we have a bit of time. But yeah, that's all. I just wanted to introduce myself and thank you for considering a letter of support for the funding proposal. Thanks.
Great, thank you. Anyone else who would like to give public input before we move on with our meeting? All right, seeing none, Ms. Boyd.
Thank you, Chair. We have no delegations and no report of the chairman. We're moving to correspondence. C1, Amanda Vance, Executive Director, Cowichan Intercultural Society, regarding the request for a letter of support for the application to establish local immigration partnership.
Timely.
Exactly.
Director Douglas. Move the letter of support be provided, seconded by Director Justice. Discussion, Director Duncan, and then Morrison.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Great to see that we're going to try and get some more help from immigration. Currently, I'm going through the immigration jungle with my wife, and it is really hard to get things done. So anything that gets us some more access to the immigration department and the process would be great.
Great, thank you. Director Morrison.
I actually have a question for Ms. Vance, if she can come up.
Please join us again at the podium, Ms. Vance. You know where it is.
Yes, now I'm seasoned.
Welcome, and I read your materials supplied with great interest. And one of the issues that was highlighted, I think I even might have noticed it in a slightly different font, was the housing crisis. And I'm, sitting here with my colleagues and more so at the Electoral Area Services Committee and contemplating how critical the work that you're doing is and how important it is for, businesses to sustain themselves and stay open. And we have great opportunities for an immigrant population coming to this area. But where do they live? And we've got associates that are over at a housing conference right now. We're in a housing crisis. And I note that you're wanting to do this plan or an updated plan. Population statistics, we've got some newer ones, but we have to have decent, affordable housing for people to come to our region and to live and work and play. So is there going to be increased emphasis? I'm trying to suggest that this organization here make housing a priority, but how is your organization making it a priority?
Well, it's a priority for our clients. It's definitely one of the top issues that we work with our clients on is finding housing here. And it is a reason that some people leave. For sure, we're aware that sometimes people move to Victoria or Vancouver because they actually find it easier to find housing there, which says something. I'm on the CVRD's Workforce Housing Committee. I wish I had more time to be a part of more of those discussions, and I think that would be one of the key topics that this group, this local immigration partnership, would want to work on together is housing, including just identifying how many people we could house here comfortably. That was a piece of data that I was looking for when I was writing the proposal, and it just doesn't exist. And I think that would be one of the really good things about having a LIP is that we would have a person who's hired specifically to find Cowichan like data that is like true to our needs right now and reflective of our priorities right now. And I think housing would probably be a top priority. So at the moment, what we mainly do as an organization is just try desperately to find housing for people. And we definitely know it's a huge barrier. But people come here without housing, and then we have to address that kind of reactively. Whereas having a committee like this would allow us to plan. At least that would be the goal.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? None opposed. Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Vance, for joining us. You can stay for the rest of the meeting, but don't feel obligated. I always see our usual early arrivals sneak out, and I feel like we don't do enough entertainment. Ms. Boyd, maybe we can make it more fun.
Thank you, Chair. C2, Terry Dillon, CEO, Rowing Canada, Avrion, regarding letter of support for funding opportunities for direction.
Director Douglas.
Mr. Chair, could I move that the Cowichan Valley Regional District provide a letter of support to Rowing Canada Everon for future funding opportunities?
Moved, seconded by Director Manhouse. Any further discussion? I will say, like, being honored to attend so many of the stepping of that facility, what a great asset to the valley. And their impact there has had all kinds of positive spin-offs, both environmentally and recreationally for the community. So it's a great facility that's building out at Quamachin Lake. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? None opposed, motion carries. Ms. Boyd.
Thank you, Chair. No information items. We move to 9 committee commission reports. CR1, report and recommendations of the Electoral Area Services Committee meeting of February 7th, 2024. Director Morrison.
Thank you, Chair, and I think we should immediately pull R7 because I'm informed by our General Manager of Land Use Services that this needs further work and consideration by committee.
Okay, so go ahead.
So with that, I would go to, for all directors, we have 3 items, C1, C2, and R5 for consideration, and I would move those 3 items.
Moved, seconded by Director Segal. Any discussion on those items? Seeing none, this is for all board. All those in favor? Any opposed? None opposed, motion carries. Director Morrison.
Moving to the electoral area directors only, we have R1, R2, and I would move those 2 items.
Seconded by Director Nicholson. Any discussion on those items? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? None opposed, motion carries. Director Morrison.
So in regards to R7, I gather we didn't quite handle it properly at committee, and there was some consideration that we might amend the bylaws and have individual approaches from electoral areas addressed in this resolution. Just in discussion with Ms. Churulf, it appears there needs to be the bylaws in their completed form appear before committee, and individual directors have reached out to staff to contemplate what they would like in regards to their specific bylaw. So it's appropriate at this point to refer R7 in its entirety back to staff and Electoral Area Services Committee.
So are you moving that then?
I'm moving referral, yes.
Back to ESC and staff. Okay, that's been seconded by Director Segal. On the referral, any discussion? So this would essentially go back through staff and then back to ESC for discussion about provisions for individual electoral areas. Okay. Seeing no discussion on the referral for electoral area directors only, all those in favor? And opposed? None opposed, motion carries. Report. Thank you, Director Morrison. Ms. Boyd.
Thank you, Chair. CR2, report and recommendations from the Committee of the Whole meeting this morning, February 14th, from Director McGonigal.
Director McGonigal.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Had to be identified before I spoke.
Thank you. I appreciate your adherence to good policies and procedures.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to move the minutes of the Committee of the Whole report from this morning's meeting, unless anyone wants one of these pulled,
So items R2 and R3,
please.
those have been moved by Director McGonigal. Do we have a seconder? Seconded by Director Wilson. Any discussion on those items? If you missed it, they're on this morning's meeting videos. Director Martman has a question.
On R2, is that where we landed?
Sorry?
R2 says that the Regional District 9 will be advised that the Cowichan Valley Regional District accepts the regional growth strategy, da-da-da. It was referred.
Oh, good call. Good catch. Meeting chair missed it. Sorry, it was all
I was
blurred to
giving
me.
someone an opportunity to pull it, Mr. Chair, just for clarity.
So for clarity, that has been moved and seconded, but we need to correct an error because it was referred to, I believe, the next committee of the whole meeting. So that is item R2. So why don't we sever those two items and we can just, how would we deal with the fact that it's on the floor? It was incorrect. Just refer to next meeting. So we'll go on R2 first. Are you moving referral to the next meeting, Director?
I believe that was what the intent of
Yeah.
of that was, sir.
So because it's on the floor, we'll just get a seconder for that referral, Director Nicholson. So this will go to the next committee of the whole. Call the question on the referral. All those in favor? Any opposed? None opposed? Motion carries. So that takes us to the remaining item that is R3. And that's been moved and duly seconded. I don't think there's any errors in that motion. No discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor? Any opposed? None opposed? Motion carries.
That concludes my convoluted report.
Thank you, Director McGonigal. We just wanted more airtime. Keeping it light. Ms. Boyd.
Thank you, Chair. Director's reports, I didn't have any. 11 staff reports, SR1, report from the Emergency Management Cowichan, Canadian Coast Guard, Mount Sticker Tower Agreement 2024-2028. And I believe I have Mr. Merrick online.
Mr. Merrick, are you here for questions or presentation? Oh, there you are. It was like he popped up. I was like, this is virtual stuff's getting really realistic. We bought one of those Kanye West hologram machines.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, these SR1 and SR2 were previously submitted on January 31st and
Yeah.
referred back to staff. And I've resubmitted them for your consideration in two separate parts, just for clarity.
Yeah.
And I'm available to answer any questions if required.
Thank you. And those, the questions on the numbers were answered in these reports, so I appreciate that very much. It's been moved by Director Douglas, seconded by Director Justice. Any further discussion or any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? None opposed, motion carries. Ms. Boyd.
SR2, report from the Emergency Management Cowichan, Central Island 911 Partnership with ECOM 911 Primary Call Answering Agreement 2024.
Again, the same submitted respectfully for consideration for
Yep.
this board meeting. Yeah.
Moved by Director Martman, seconded by Director Douglas. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? None opposed, motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Merrick.
Thank you.
SR3, report from the Corporate Services Department regarding Cowichan Housing Association Development Project Plan and Bridge Funding Request. The recommendation before you does have an amendment. I believe Mr. Padel will speak to that.
Yeah, for
Mr. Payne.
consideration by the board. The minor amendment is to recommendation number 2. This sum should read $518,862.19. And myself, I'm here to answer any questions with regards to the report. And also, we have Mr. Daryl Makaluk here, who is the new Executive Director of the Couching Housing Association, to answer any questions with regards to the project.
Great, thank you very much. I appreciate the bringing this back to us in a more complete form, so thank you very much. Looking to the board. Moved by Director Nicholson, seconded by Director McGonigal. Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? None opposed, motion carries. Not to make you come here for all that, but we're looking, we're looking forward to your work and getting to know you better, so we'll spend some more time together in the near future, hopefully. Great. And Director McGonigal's tasked with keeping that tomorrow evening. So you'll see Director McGonigal tomorrow evening, and he'll be reporting back to us at the table about how things are going. So watch him, he's a little bit sneaky. No, I'm just kidding. All right, Ms. Boyd.
Moving to bylaws, number 13 of the board, CVRD bylaw number 455, Malahat Fire Protection Service Amendment, Boundary Extension Bylaw 2024, be granted first, second, and third reading.
Moved by Director Segal, seconded by Alternate Director Champ. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? None opposed, motion carries. Ms. Boyd.
B2, CVRD bylaw 4559, Mill Springs Sewer System Service Amendment Bylaw, Boundary Extension Bylaw 2024, be granted first, second, and third reading.
Moved by Director Segal, seconded by Director Deck. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? None opposed, motion carries. These next ones are for electoral area directors only. Ms. Boyd.
BEA1, recommendation that the CVRD bylaw number 4528, Electoral Area F, Cowichan Lake, South Scouts Falls Zoning Amendment Bylaw 7150, Cowichan Lake Road, PID 005316502, 2023, be granted third reading. And let's omnibus this, that CVRD bylaw 4528, Electoral Area F, Cowichan Lake South, Scotts Falls zoning amendments, 7150, Cowichan Lake Road, PID 005316502, 2023 be adopted.
Moved by Director Morrison, seconded by Director Champ. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? None opposed, motion carries. Just quick question, can we do first, second, and third reading and adoption under one motion? Okay. All right. Cool. Cool, I'm good. Moving right along, Ms. Boyd.
Want a fast meeting? The CVRD bylaw 4497, Electoral Area F, Cowichan Lake South, Scotts Falls zoning amendment bylaw 7531, Cowichan Lake Road, PID 012490920, 2023 be adopted.
Moved by Director Morrison, seconded by Director Segal. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? None opposed, motion carries. Just a quick moment, I believe because they are zoning bylaw amendments, we do have to vote them separately. Okay, so we'll go back to BEA 1. We'll take that we've voted on number 1, which is first, second, and third reading, and I'd look for a mover and seconder for adoption. Moved by Director Morrison, seconded by Director Wilson. So this is for the adoption of BEA 1, no worries. All those in favor? Any opposed? None opposed, motion carries. That takes us, I believe, to BEA 3.
Thank you, Chair. A little thrown off there. Zoning bylaws. CVRD bylaw 4494, Electoral Area Works and Servicing Bylaw Amendment, Community Water System Definition 2023 be adopted.
Moved by Director Wilson, seconded by Director Segal. Any discussion? Seeing none, for EA directors only, all in favor? Any opposed? None opposed, motion carries. Ms. Boyd.
Thank you, Chair. That CVRD bylaw 4495, Electoral Area H, North Oyster, Diamond Zoning Amendment Bylaw, Community Water System Definition 2023 be adopted.
Moved by Director Martman, seconded by Director Segal. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? None opposed, motion carries. Ms. Boyd.
and another zoning, so we'll do them 1 and 2. CVRD bylaw 4276 South Cowichan zoning amendment bylaw PID 025580311 2022 be first, second, and third reading be rescinded.
Moved by Director Wilson, seconded by Director Segal. All those in favor? Any opposed? None opposed, motion carries. Ms. Boyd.
And part 2 of that, CVRD bylaw 4276 South Cowichan zoning amendment bylaw PID 025580311 2022 be granted first and second reading as amended.
Just, sorry, I think there was an error there. It should be just first reading as amended. Okay. Yeah, they just caught that. Okay, so do we have a mover? Director Segal, seconded by Director Wilson. Any discussion? It's first reading as amended. All those in favor? Any opposed? None opposed, motion carries. Wow, we're really burning up the rubber today. Ms. Boyd, so that takes us, I believe, to question period, but I don't see anyone in the gallery unless Chase wants to speak to us about something. He's just like, I'm glad I didn't have to get up and click anything this meeting. So seeing none for question period, I believe that makes us, takes us to a motion to go into closed. Director Douglas? Oh, she's just going to read out the provisions and then.
Motion that the meeting be closed to the public in accordance with the Community Charter, Part 4, Division 3, Section 90, subsections as noted in accordance with each agenda item. CSM 1, closed session of board minutes of January 24th, 2024. CSRES 1, appointments, Community Charter, Section 91A.
That's been moved by Director Douglas, seconded by Director Segal.